All right. Well, according to YouTube and StreamYard, we are live. We're gonna, pray to God to see if this is working this time. Welcome to episode 5 of Watch What Now, and I'm surprised we made it to episode 5 with some of the things we watched. I do want to thank. It's been an interesting journey. This is the. I'm a little off because we've had some technical difficulties. And
We're on.
We're on. All right, good. Now I don't have to bullshit my way through this. We are a little late because of YouTube was being really, really stupid. StreamYard was too. Anyways, welcome to episode 5 of Watch What Now. This is the podcast where we watch the good, the bad, and everything in between. And we're also following my my wonderful co-host's journey through the horror genre, as she is a newbie. I am Eric from Hey Internet, Eric here. And with me is my wonderful co-host and someone I consider a good friend. She's an AVN Hall of Famer, former radio show host, and a woman that will probably never look at the wonderful world of the same way ever again, Miss Melissa Hill. Melissa, after all that we just had to deal with, how are you doing?
Doing well. Yeah, I'm still checking though to see if you know what, the one that we did before went up. Those brief few minutes, but the one we're doing now isn't, so I guess we're just going to record it and then it'll go up after.
Okay, really? All right. That is really freaking stupid.
Yeah,
I don't get it because it's wait, yeah, because once again it said that it once said that we're live, and then it did that error again. So
right,
this is going to be really annoying. I'm going to stop this. I have to create a record only stream. It'll take literally as long as it did last time. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just give me 5 more minutes, and I'm going to be sending in some tech support for StreamYard for sure.
Okay. Well, I think it might just have to do with now we're on. Now we're on. Okay.
Go figure. All right. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna keep all that stuff in. And if this ends up being a lost episode, it ends up being a lost episode because we didn't watch that fucking movie for nothing.
Right, that's for sure. Okay. All right. Back to Winnie-the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Right. This is the slasher genre we introduced you to. We're not gonna go through the whole 5 minutes that was not available because of YouTube. Melissa, 99% of women and little girls grew up loving Winnie the Pooh. And I remember you were interested. You did send me a text saying you were interested in doing a sneak peek of this. What were your expectations going into it? And what were your initial thoughts as it ended, as someone who just had no idea what they were getting into?
Well, I thought it was going to be a cartoon.
Right.
That was one thought, like, because I remember there was a movie when I was a kid called oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of it. But it was a cartoon that had blood and animals dying in it and stuff. So I was like, oh, is it gonna be like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was curious to see how they were gonna have the Winnie the Pooh voice and intermingled with killing. Mm-hmm. And of course they took care of that in the introduction of the movie where they said that they no longer speak. And right. I was like, oh, okay. And then let's see, what else did I write? I said, yeah, so I felt like I came away with this movie with more questions than answers. Like, and then also I thought it was a little bit confusing because it looks like Jason mm-hmm. wearing a mask, mm-hmm. So I was like, are these supposed to be people in masks, or are we supposed to suspend our disbelief and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's an animal? It's like,
yeah. What happened was in 2022, I guess you'd say the story, like the actual storybook itself, that type of stuff went to public domain. And basically, when it goes to public domain, anybody can do whatever they want with the subject matter.
Oh, all right.
The director decided to write, direct, and produce this movie. What if Winnie the Pooh and Piglet were basically, from the looks of it, two country bumpkins that attack anybody and everybody that goes into the 100 is it the 100 Acre Wood? Yeah.
Yes.
So basically the simplest plot is Christopher Robin and all that stuff is true, but he eventually grew to go to college and he left Winnie the Pooh and the rest of them. And as he left for college, there was no one to take care of them. They went feral. And as Melissa said, they lost the ability to speak. And in a very, we're gonna get to it. The animated sequence, a very disturbing sequence. We see that they run out of food and have to feast on poor little Eeyore.
Yeah.
And then eventually, people come back to the 100 Acre Woods, and hilarity ensues.
Right. By the way, so just on a side note, the other day my dog Teddy was running around, and the people I was with, they started calling him Eeyore, and I'm like, and I had already started watching this film because the first viewing I sat through 25 minutes anyway, and they started calling him Eeyore, and I was like, no, you're not going to eat my dog. Anyway, long story short, I can't look at Teddy the same way again.
Poor guy.
And he was actually laying on the couch next to me today when I was finishing the film. And when it ended, I just looked at him and I was like, I don't know, I had mixed emotions over it.
Well, I remember when I first saw this, I saw this once before and I didn't like it. My opinions may have changed a little bit. I still have the same feeling. I guess we'll start at the beginning. The beginning does start and it tells the story of Christopher Robin and I'll give it credit where credit's due. The animation beginning was really neat, where it showed Christopher Robin meeting Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and everybody. They didn't have the rights to Tigger yet, so Tigger is not there. And it's just telling the story of how he loved them. They were friends, went on adventures. We all know the story. And then he had to leave them because he's growing up, going to college. They turn feral. They eat poor Eeyore. And then we cut to 5 years later, and it's now live action. And Christopher Robin, he's there with his, I don't know if it's his fiance or girlfriend, Mary, and he's taken her to the 100 Acre Woods to prove to her that this is true. And like anybody with half a brain, she's not believing that he used to hang out in the woods with, talking bears and pigs and stuff like that. And in my opinion, like, I don't know your history or how many slasher movies you've seen. It does have that creepy killer in the woods vibe. So it started off promising, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, again, my whole thing was lots of questions. I did think that I don't know what the budget was for this film, but I figured, all the budget must have gone into recreating their fort in the 100 Acre Wood.
I'm on Wikipedia, and this is in dollars, not pounds, because this was a British movie. It says $50,000.
All right, yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, that seems about right. And holy crap, it made $7.7 million. Jesus.
Wow, they're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so since you brought up the girlfriend, that brings me to question number one. Well,
oh Lord. Okay.
Actually, well, yeah, I don't know. Question number 3, maybe. I wrote, I wonder if Christopher Robin's girlfriend ended up believing him.
See?
And then go ahead.
Well, I was thinking like, or is it just one of those, like, I don't want to tell this guy no because I don't know what he'll do to me, if I tell him I don't believe him type of thing.
Well, I mean, she gets her head bashed in. So like, as she's getting her head bashed in, did she think he was right? I believe him now.
You're right. Okay, get him off of me. So,
right.
and that's because that's what happens. And we're going through and we're seeing like overturned jars of honey. We do see an R.I.P. Eeyore sign in the background, crudely made. Right. And then Piglet shows up, and it's not sweet, lovable Piglet from, you know, the little bashful, scaredy cat from what we've seen before. It is probably oh God, it looks like a man with a really bad Halloween pig mask. And this guy's got to be pushing 350, or if not.
And again, which another question was, okay, so only 5 years have passed since Christopher Robin left this group.
Right.
And seriously, he was playing with creatures that were that giant, that look like men.
Right. And that's just so weird. And so Piglet wraps a chain around her neck and he's choking her. And as Melissa said, he's bashing her head. And what really pissed me off is if we're supposed to, you know, we know we're going to follow Christopher Robin, or we think we're going to follow Christopher Robin, instead of, you know, jumping in there, pulling the pig man off of his girlfriend, he's just crouching there, yelling and screaming for him to stop, instead of, you know, trying to help your loved one.
Exactly. Right. And then honestly, the way that they did the animation, I thought they ate him. I thought we were done with Christopher Robin. So again, I was confused because at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh, so Christopher Robin's going to be the hero. He's going to switch them back to being good bears and pigs. And then they do something to him and they led me to believe that they killed him and ate him. And so, which I was wrong. But that would require me to jump all the way to the end, so I'm not gonna. But and then anyway, so then all of a sudden it cuts to this woman in her therapist's office, and I'm like, who's this chick?
Yeah, because like Melissa was saying, in the animation it shows that Pooh and Piglet drag Christopher Robin like off to a cave or something like that.
Right.
And then it shows like newspaper clippings of more missing bodies, this and that, the usual slasher movie, you know, hillbilly in the woods fare that we've gotten before. And it's true. We cut to a woman named Maria, and she's in therapy, and her therapist is just saying, you know, you need to take a weekend getaway. So she takes a weekend getaway with maybe 4 other women.
Yeah.
And we don't know why she's in therapy yet, but we will. And then the next thing I have written down is we have Tina. She's the redhead, and she just happens to get.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
No, we're having a hell of a night, and I blame the movie. It wouldn't be something. It wouldn't be something. Tina gets lost in the woods because she can't find her way to the cabin or the bed and breakfast or the hotel or wherever it is the girls are at. And then she is chased by Winnie-the Pooh. Right. And this is the biggest problem with a movie where Winnie-the-Pooh is going to be this big giant feral killer in the woods. Piglet looked like a monster. You know, it was a fake Halloween mask. At least he looked like, you know, a scary boar or something like that. Right. Winnie-the Pooh looks fucking awful. He looks like to me, because he looks like this big dumb redneck, you know, in the flannel and the suspenders and the overalls, but his mask makes him look really, really like simple. You know, I don't want to be real mean and politically incorrect, but he doesn't look like he's very smart. He reminded me of, like, you know, that Looney Tunes gangster character, you know, the really big dumb guy that was always with the really short gangster guy that was always doing the dumb menial work, you know?
Yeah.
And it just makes me wonder, how am I supposed to get intimidated or, you know, air quotes, scared by someone that looks so silly and dumb like that?
My take on it was, well, yeah, he kept looking like he was about to cry.
Yes.
And it took me a while to figure out I thought he was drooling the whole time. It wasn't until towards the end that I realized it was honey that's like dripping from his face.
Well, the look of the mask actually didn't help the fact that it could have been drool. You know, he has this look on his face the whole time.
Right, because he's looking at the people, and I thought he was drooling like, I'm about to eat you. And then here's another question. It was like, I get that they're feral, but I thought they were supposed to be feral in order to survive and eat. What was with all the like excessive killing? You know, that's like a waste of food, you know, if they're killing people to eat. But then they like never did eat. Well, I take that back. At the beginning, they did grind up a few people, and I was like, okay, so they're making mincemeat. They're going to make some hamburgers out of these people, I guess. But you know, later on in the film, they were just, it just seemed like killing just to kill. Like they weren't. And Piglet, like, dude, what the fuck? Like that was, I did not like Piglet. Okay. I had a little bit of sympathy for the Pooh character because it seemed like, not sympathy, but you know, like, oh, he could be you know, reprogrammed to be a likable character. But Piglet was just like, what the fuck with the chains? He had the chains, he had the sledgehammer. You know, I mean, it was just excess. And he was like the more, it seemed like the Pooh character was find the victims and then go get Piglet, and then Piglet would come in and like do the dirty work.
Right. It made it seem like Winnie-the-Pooh was the sidekick, and Piglet was the one barking the orders and stuff like that. Which which is a total 180 because, you know, Piglet's supposed to be the scaredy cat and everything. But excuse me, again, I understand feral creatures, and like you said, they're supposed to be eating these people. And when Tina the redhead gets lost in the woods, she's chased by Pooh's dumbass, and then she gets her head bashed in, and she gets fed into a wood chipper. So it's also, if they're supposed, like you said, if they're supposed to be killing these people and eating them, it's not going to work because there's nothing you're going to be able to get out of, you know, a dead body thrown in through a wood chipper.
Right. It looks like we have a second person watching. Hi, second person.
Hey, hope so. We'll find out. I'm definitely talking to StreamYard, figure out what's going on. But
okay. Anyway, so yeah, okay. Back to my next question.
Yep.
Who the fuck walks into a clearly abandoned business asking if anyone is there? So,
especially in a clearly abandoned business in the middle of the woods.
Right. Okay. And again, so Maria, the girl at the therapist, they, you know, what the therapist suggests, oh, why don't you go away, get some time to yourself? And it's like, I wouldn't go away to the woods if we later find out in the movie that the problem she was running from was she had a peeping Tom who ended up entering her home and, you know, basically stalking her. Correct. So I would want to go to, like, I don't know, a big city maybe, or
a beach resort or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to go if someone snuck into my house and I don't know if she was actually assaulted or not, but nearly assaulted me. I'm not going to go back into the woods where there's no security, and the only ones that can that can defend me are my dumb friends who like to get drunk all weekend. You know what I mean?
Right. And then the one who was like, I have to do my live stream.
Yeah.
So all right, I guess that was jumping back. That was because we were on the girl and the wood chipper. Okay, so all the other girls they got lost and stopped at the abandoned business, which I guess ended up not being abandoned because on her way out, like, another group of people walked in. What happened to those people?
Yeah, Melissa, this is what we call it in the movie business. It's known as padding. You know what I mean? They have to add like 10, 15 minutes to make a movie. Like, this movie was barely, I think, an hour and a half long.
Oh yeah, I know. When I watched the first 25 minutes, and you know, and I pushed pause, I was like, damn, I'm already one third of the way through. So but anyway, so my next question goes, all right, basically about Piglet. Okay, what the fuck, Piglet? Is it not enough that you smashed her head in? Did you have to turn her into minced meat?
Yes.
Okay. That was that. If I saw someone, okay, now to the Maria. Now they're having flashbacks. So all the sorority girls are at this Airbnb in the middle of the woods so that Maria can heal from her stalker situation. But so during the
flashback.
There
we go.
Age,
it's okay.
During the flashback, I wrote, if I saw someone looking back at me through the window, I'd never return to my house alone. Girl, change the locks.
Yeah, it just is. I mean, I get it for story purposes, but like, and it's kind of funny how we're looking for the logic in a movie like Winnie-the Pooh is going after these people, but yeah, it's just I hate to say she brought it upon herself. It just makes me wonder, how are you going to heal from your trauma of someone sneaking in the house when you're locked, you're in a house with no protection in the woods? You know what I mean? Anybody can be living out there.
I feel like you were saying earlier, it was definitely padding the backstory, not the Pooh and Piglet turning feral part, but the backstory of Maria, because they obviously, like you said, they had to have some sort of story in order to fill up the time in order to make a movie. And I think in most slasher films, it's usually like a spring break type thing, a bunch of stupid kids wearing bikinis and going somewhere fun, but I think obviously they had to create a reason as to why these people were going into the woods. You know what? Why couldn't they have just had it people going camping?
they could have just had it just be a fun getaway. We didn't have to have this traumatic backstory of her and a stalker, because after that it doesn't go anywhere. To my knowledge, I wasn't keeping up. I didn't think the story went anywhere. Right.
And then shocker, or spoiler alert, we lose Maria at the end of the movie. So the person that was her stalker in the flashback obviously is not Pooh or Piglet.
Right.
Although in her mind she thinks that it might be. But there's no going back to there's no
like redemption for her. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the thing, because you think, okay, well, if she's dealing with this trauma, she's going to overcome it. She's going to become this strong woman. She's going to take down the two creatures that are stalking her. No, it doesn't go anywhere, because she doesn't make it out of the movie alive. And that was just a big waste of time for this this whole stalker backstory.
Right. So anyway, so we're in the house with all the girls, and they're getting killed off, all right. I found it really very interesting that so the girl, a lot of shit just didn't make sense. Okay. So this
let it out.
This chick, they show her upstairs in the bedroom, doing, OnlyFans or whatever the hell that she's doing, because she's flopping around and, bouncing her boobs and tossing her hair and posing at the camera. And then all of a sudden, is she the girl that's in the hot tub? Like,
I think so. It's hard for me to tell them. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the only one I could tell apart was the redhead, and they did the mistake by having her taken out early, because there's two brunettes, and then I think there's like two blondes. So it was hard for me to tell them apart.
And they weren't like light blondes either. They were dark blondes. And the film was all shot at night in the dark. So I couldn't tell. Anyway, so the girl that's doing her OnlyFans or whatever it is, suddenly, I think is the same girl that's in the hot tub, right? So
I'm just going to go ahead and say, it's not like it matters.
Okay. So she's in the hot tub and she's reviewing her photos, and she sees Mr. Winnie-the-Pooh peeking at her from around the corner.
Yeah.
And she gets out of the hot tub, looks around. I would be running inside going, yo, bitches, there's some, I would like never go outside there.
There's some big fat redneck, watching me take my selfies in the hot tub.
wearing a bear mask, right? And then, but no, she walks around, turns on the light works for a little bit, and they flicker, and then she gets back into the hot tub with her back towards where the creepy dude had been standing, as if he was like right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell does that? Does not make sense, because that's not something I would do. No. But anyway, yeah, so that was what I wrote. Who the fuck turns their back towards a creepy lurker while in a hot tub at night in the woods? That's what I wrote.
I'm so glad you take notes. And then I guess, so that leads to Pooh and Piglet. She's chloroformed, whole rag on the mouth. And then this is really weird, because I get that they're, I think they said in the description in the beginning they were half-breeds, so I don't know if that means they were part human. So that means, I guess, a human fucked a bear and a pig and all that stuff. It is the deep woods. But you find out she's hogtied, and then she's hogtied laying down on the ground in front of a car.
Right. And I was like, where did this car appear from? So
how did Pooh learn how to drive a car?
Right. I had to put my thinking cap on and go, oh, that must be the car that they arrived in. The girls.
I guess, but it's just I can understand. Okay, they choke a girl with a chain, they bash her head in, some of the stuff, the wood chipper that just happens to be there. Okay, fine. But now Pooh and Piglet are running people over with cars.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is a fan of horror films, but he ran out of ideas, and maybe he had like random things, on paper in a hat, and that's what he pulled out, and he put, runs over with car or something like that, and is trying to make it work.
I feel like he might have stolen them from other slasher films.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who gets it? Someone later on gets it, a knife through the throat, and then they're hanging.
It's a machete through the throat into a tree.
Right.
Yeah, but and that makes sense for a slasher film. It's just like, and again, I know we have to give a little bit of grace because it's Pooh and Piglet, but Pooh driving a car and running her over, that's really, like, I rolled my eyes so far in my head, I felt them like hitting the front of my brain.
Right. And didn't the girls inside hear the car rev, the engine revving? No,
I guess not. One thing we overlooked is Christopher Robin is still alive.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
I have it here. Rooting for Christopher Robin.
Because there's a scene where he's being tortured, like he's chained to the ceiling, and Pooh is whipping him with Eeyore's tail, like it's a bullwhip.
Right.
I appreciate the concept, but no.
Well, that's funny because I had that written down as one of my favorite scenes.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Simply because it was Eeyore's tail, and I'm like, okay, I get it. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. It's a little connection. Let's see here. I got Pooh and Piglet try to get into the house. Maria thinks the stalker. Zoe falls. Okay, this is the part where Maria and Zoe is, random girl number 3, I guess we'll say. And this is the part where she falls into the inside pool. And I don't know if Maria got knocked out or if she's like Christopher Robin. She's just watching it happen without helping. This is where Piglet slowly walks into the pool with probably a 25-30-pound sledgehammer. So he's going extra slow.
Right.
And he
bitch can't make it. Like,
yeah, she can't get out. And I don't know why, because in pools, when you're in the corner, at least one of those corners has stairs to get, to climb out, or you can just push yourself out.
Right. At that point, I was like, she could push herself out on the side because it was an indoor pool, and it probably wasn't that deep. It was probably just a lap pool, and she could have jumped out and tried to hit him with her little hammer. That was another scene that I thought was funny because she was running around with her hammer, and then he pulls out the sledgehammer, and I was like,
yeah,
he one-upped you.
Yep. And it was a I'll give it credit. It was a cool concept for a kill. It's just another one of those. I'm surprised you didn't get the hell out of the pool, but because he's not running at you. Again, these guys gotta be 350 pounds minimum.
Plus
and he's walking through the water
with his steel-toed boots.
Yes.
Those things are heavy.
So we'll do that. And I just, I think the YouTube gods have finally shined a light. My phone is saying that we are fully live and we're not, 10 minutes behind. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. So I'll give it points for the kill. And then I guess we jump to random girl number 4. I guess, okay, go ahead.
I have a question first.
All right, here we go.
Does anyone ever ask, why is there a man bear walking around with honey dripping from his face?
Hey, anyway, well, you know what? This also brings up a question that you brought up before we went live for the 4th time. This was made in England. It takes place in England because Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. The story is based in England. Are there Appalachian hillbilly? Maybe this is just one of those random. Oh, that's just Fred and Jude. We're used to seeing them walking through the woods type of thing.
Right.
Jeez. So we're now following random girl number 4. I got her name is Alice. Again, it doesn't matter. And is she tied to a table? And this is where Pooh's like peering over her and like shoving honey in his mouth. And of course the Halloween mask is so bad. It's not like it's going down the guy's throat. It's just him literally smearing it on his face and his nose.
You could see him shoving the honey into the mask.
Yeah. It looks nasty because eventually he's peering over her, and the way the honey's dripping, it looks, I'm not going to try to sound gross, but it looks like, snot and all that stuff is like dripping all over her.
It looked like sperm. All
yeah.
Right.
It did. Hey, Winnie the Pooh is not for kids anymore.
I mean, they have the damsel in distress with her breasts up, yeah. And her hands tied behind her back. And I was like, they're trying really hard to make it sexy.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, everybody's got a kink. There are furries out there. I'm not going to judge if you're into dressing up like, redneck Pooh Bears. God bless you. Uh-huh. Not my thing. And then he starts slapping her for some reason, which was odd. He's done everything he's done so far, and now he's just slapping her. And now I have that she is rescued by the group, and then as they are leaving, they hear screaming, and they find Christopher Robin and random victim number 5, some blonde that we haven't seen in the entire movie, to my knowledge. We didn't see her in the beginning or anything, did we?
I don't know. According to Christopher Robin, she had been brought in earlier that morning. So
okay.
I feel like maybe we saw her, but she sure did know an awful lot about who these creatures were for someone that had just been brought in that morning.
Right. It's just again, we're just gonna have to run with it. So they save Christopher Robin. They save Blondie. I'm just gonna call her Blondie. I don't even think they gave her a name.
Her name was Charlene.
Charlene. Okay, we'll say that. And then there is this.
I only know that because I had to turn on closed caption to understand what the heck these people were saying.
Their accents are pretty thick. It's real close to the governor Cockney accent, like we were talking about.
Right.
So I got, Melissa, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but now there's a standoff between Charlene and Piglet. Yeah. And she pulls the gun on Piglet. And of course it doesn't.
And where'd the gun come from?
Why didn't she use it earlier?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And why didn't she use it earlier? And why did she do like a warning shot? I knew right then and there, like one warning shot, that gun's dead now. Yeah,
that was her one bullet, probably.
Right.
So what I have here, so there's a standoff between her and Piglet. She points the gun at him, shoots it, doesn't work. And then I wrote, Pooh pours honey on her face and Piglet eats her. So we finally get some cannibalism or some eating of some people in a movie where we're probably an hour and 10 minutes in, finally. And the whole point was Christopher Robin left them. They have no one to feed them. They resorted to cannibalism and flesh eating. And now, finally, an hour and 10 minutes in, after the sledgehammers and the wood chippers and the fucking cars, we get someone finally getting eaten.
Right, exactly. Which, going back to the car thing, they just left her there. They ran over her head and left her there. Rude.
And the thing is, I don't think the friends saw, like, when they were running away, because the car comes back in play, by the end of it, because there's that car chase at the end of the movie, I believe.
I thought they were in the hillbilly truck.
You're right. They are. I'm jumping ahead. Oh, we're going to talk about those fucking hillbillies. So Piglet's eating Charlene. And my first question is, I must have missed something, because now we're at a scene where Piglet is actually captured. He's chained up. I don't remember seeing a scene where he was bludgeoned and taken away or anything. It just happened.
It just happened. Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to believe that Alice had the strength to drag this 300-pound pig man and chain him all up alone.
And she just happened to find the chains that Piglet had, hanging around.
Right.
And he hasn't. I mean, he just ate somebody, so he's replenished. He's not starving, and it's just weird how someone her size can take down man, beast, whatever you want to say, his size, and it looked like it was easy because it looked like he's already been beaten up, and then. I guess I don't remember what she had, but she bludgeoned him to death with something. I don't know if it was the sledgehammer or what.
Yes. Yeah. She grabbed his sledgehammer, which, again, a sledgehammer alone, like being able to pick it up and do that takes some strength. Yeah. And so I was like, go Alice. I guess Alice was going to be the heroine of this movie. Wrong again.
Yeah, because that's where we get our machete through the mouth scene. And again, it just kind of like, see, that's how the movie should end. You know what I mean? You kill the villain in this over the top way, but it just kind of it was all for nothing, because she turns around and she gets that machete through her mouth and it pins her to a tree, which for a slasher film, it is a fun homage to the slasher films of the 80s, and in the woods, but it's just for me, it was a little too late, I guess, after all we've seen. So we had that.
Because everything, this was another thing, was like, I felt like every kill scene was about the head. Which would make sense if they hated beauty, I guess. But why were they going for everyone's heads? Like, or
you're not wrong, because you had the car, you had the sledgehammer, the machete. The redhead went into the wood chipper head first, so that counts. If you ask me, we have a decapitation at the end of the movie, so you're right. It is all about that. Okay. So next, they're running away, and this is when they run into the rednecks, I believe, that just happen to be hanging out in the middle of the road. And I couldn't help but think that they were just redneck versions of like Ronnie James Dio and stuff like that.
I was thinking Ted Nugent, Alice Cooper, and that's who I thought that initially came to mind. I was like, how's what I say? Ted Nugent. It's like
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent in this film, and I was
okay.
And I was expecting hillbilly accents to come out of their mouths, and I was just like, I didn't know they had hillbillies in England. Did we already go over this? I can't recall.
We did a little bit. We were asking about the Appalachians, and
but was it in take 1, take 2, or take 3?
I think all 3 of them. And let's see, I got girls run into a bunch of long-haired rednecks, and they start beating Pooh up. They just, because, you know, it's redneck, so they have their beer bottles, they have their crowbars, they have their baseball bats, and they're doing their best to, you know, they're being the hero, and
Right.
you know, they're beating up the the bear monster, the bear man, whatever they want to think. And thank you, Anthony. Anthony's in the chat. Just shared this on Instagram. Thank you for that.
Oh, hi,
And
Anthony.
then I put Pooh literally karate chops half a dude's face off. So he karate chops Ronnie James Dio's face off.
Which again, I was like, didn't he just slap him? Like, how did his face come off?
And the thing is, the girl that he was slapping on the table, her face wasn't missing anything. Right. So I guess he knows when to choose his karate chop powers, because Pooh is practicing karate in the fucking 100 Acre Woods, you know.
And then the hillbillies, bless their hearts, you know. If they would have like come at him as a group instead of one at a time, maybe they would have had a chance. But I mean, like, the dude walks up with the crowbar, you know, and it barely, you know, makes a mark. And
right.
And then the way that they did that camera angle, you know, all of a sudden Pooh Bear is like 300 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening? Did he grow?
He's the Incredible Hulk, you know.
I don't understand. How come these people all of a sudden are really small and he's so big?
And it just gets weirder than that. So if it's not weird enough, poor Ronnie James Dio loses half his face from a karate chop. And then I don't know if Pooh had a knife or if he just used his hand, but he chops one person's hand off and crushes a guy's skull. Okay, we've seen that before. Slices the other guy's throat. And then there's one guy left, and he just books out of town. He's running away, but Pooh just looks off into the distance, and I guess he calls a bunch of CGI bees or hornets to attack him in the distance.
I was like, I need to refresh my knowledge of Winnie the Pooh because I don't understand what's happening here. He like waved his hand and suddenly it leaves. There's a lot of open-ended, a lot of loose strings.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Like okay, it's just so weird. Like, maybe if they established, you know, everything Pooh could do, because they just made it seem like he's just this big, dumb killing machine. You know what I mean? The way he looks, the way he moves, but he now, you know, he now knows karate. He now controls all the insects in the forest. I just don't get it.
Right. So your friend said you're currently developing a movie called Webster.
Dennis is drunk. Don't mind him. But you know,
Papadopoulos. Okay.
Yeah. me and this is Dennis is someone I used to podcast with, and
I remember him.
He's the one that told you to blink twice if I was keeping you against your will. Yeah, don't blink twice again. And we had a podcast going, and we were talking about this film, and we were just going through different like TV shows that could be serial killers, and it's just scary how it all worked. So the bugs got the guy, and then
Did the bugs get the guy?
I wish the bugs got me, because I was about ready to turn the movie off.
Or did they just follow him? I mean,
and I'm just wait. I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's, what did I say, $500,000, something like that. I don't see where. You know what I mean?
50,000.
Oh, gee, yeah, okay. I'm giving them way too much fucking credit. Couldn't you throw in an extra 1,000 and make those things look good and eat him or something like that?
I mean, there is another scene where they did show those creatures, the things flying around. I thought they were leaves. I was like, oh, it's windy outside and leaves are spinning around.
Melissa, for all we fucking know, they were monster leaves. You know what I mean? Eating them. Anything is really, you know, possible at this point.
So, but yeah, all right. So we see that Christopher Robin is now back in the movie. He did not get eaten.
Right. It's just him and Maria now, I think.
Right. And I was like, they make a nice couple, Christopher and Maria.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, how quickly he gets over that fiance that got ramshackled at the beginning of the movie.
I mean, what was this, like maybe a week? I don't know if I said how long is it since Christopher Robin's been tortured? Maybe a week or something like that. So Christopher Robin really got over his fiance who was murdered in front of, well, you know what? Here's the thing. He didn't try to fucking help her when Piglet was choking her anyway. So
that's true.
You know,
their relationship was already on the rocks.
This was a plan all along.
Right. So yeah, I was like, let's go. I wrote down, let's go Christopher Robin. And then I wrote Christopher and Maria would make a nice couple until Pooh stabbed her head.
Well, yeah, because they get in the redneck truck and they drive away, and Pooh jumps. He finally fucking shows that he can actually walk and do something. He jumps in the bed of the pickup truck, and they hit the brakes, and because he's on the roof, and there's another girl with him. There's the girl with the glasses. I guess we'll call her the nerd, because that's how we could tell them apart. She had glasses on, and so Pooh is on the roof of the car or the pickup truck. They hit the brakes. He flies off. He gets up really fast, and he grabs the girl with the glasses, and she's the one that, again, $50,000. She is dragged away, and she is decapitated off screen. We don't see any violence or any of that, and he literally just, hey, Ma, look what I got, type of thing. He holds up her head, and then he chucks it on the windshield. And what do I have? He falls off the roof, kills friends with glasses, and then he's gonna stab Maria. And Christopher, that's what it was. See, it was the two girls in the pickup truck. What happened was, girl in the glasses decapitated. Pooh's gonna stab Maria. Christopher Robin has his hero entrance. He comes out of nowhere in another vehicle, runs over Pooh, and pins him between the two vehicles. Okay. That's what happens. Then Christopher Robin and Maria have their moment of, bliss, and hey, this might work out. Melissa's all happy. And then
but no.
But here's the thing. Christopher Robin actually finally fucking did something, because Pooh gets up, because, Michael Myers, Jason, the whole unstoppable killing machine. Christopher Robin offers to stay with Pooh forever. He apologizes, let Maria go. We can work this out. I'll stay with you. Do whatever you want. And you think it's going to work. He's atoning for his sins. He's atoning for not doing jack shit for his girlfriend. Nope. Pooh just happens to cut Maria's throat. And Christopher Robin runs off, and Pooh still stabs Maria's head. And then we have this ending shot of Pooh looking really bad with fire behind him. And me and Melissa are sitting there wondering, what the hell did we just watch?
What the fuck? Right. I was like, watch what now?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, there were so many opportunities. I thought that, okay, so Christopher Robin goes off with Pooh, and then he becomes more Pooh, more like Pooh, instead of Pooh becoming, more decent, which leaves it to, a part two. And Maria survives, and maybe Maria would have appeared in the next movie, and she could have been hunting the two of them, or it could have been kind of suspenseful, sort of like the Jamie Lee Curtis of Halloween. She just always comes back.
Yeah.
But no, they killed her.
Yep.
And then yeah, like you just said, and then movie over, like the ending credits go up. I'm like, what?
Well, here's the thing. I don't remember if you remember the text, because we were going to do this last week and it's been a while. You just mentioned how, this could have been a sequel, returning characters. This is the first of a shared universe, because this did so well. There was a sequel, and I am not making it a part of the show unless you decide. We'll leave it at that. There is a sequel. Christopher Robin is in therapy. It's like 5 years later. And now Pooh is back. Piglet's back somehow. I guess she didn't hit him hard enough with the fucking sledgehammer.
Well, that was
They
I
now
knew
have
that was happening.
Yeah, they now have Tigger. Tigger is there. They have Owl. And I will say this, they had a bigger budget. They actually look like creatures. They're not dopey people in Halloween masks.
Okay.
So it's, I guess you'd say air quotes, better. You know what I mean? But this is part of a shared universe. There has also been a Peter Pan movie that has been released where Peter Pan is kidnapping children and taking them back to Neverland, which is basically just his shack in the woods. And he's got Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell is this drug addict that he's keeping. You could tell the theme of these movies, you know what I mean, that he's keeping in the basement. There is a Bambi movie called Bambi the Reckoning, where this mutated deer is just destroying everybody in the woods type of thing. And they're all, Pinocchio is coming out next, which Pinocchio I can understand being kind of a horror movie, a puppet that's alive.
Right.
And then
that's
the Avengers, they're all gonna get together with Mary Poppins and Captain Hook, and they're gonna have their type of get together movie. So trust me, this thing isn't ending anytime soon, no matter how much you want it to, Melissa.
Well, I did notice because I watched it on Tubi. I watched this movie on Tubi, and after the film ended, like all these other similar type movies. So I saw the Mickey Mouse one. I mean, I saw the pictures and the titles of the different movies, but I wasn't sure because I'll be honest, my childhood, I didn't have a lot of fairy tales in my childhood. So I wasn't even really clear on what the Winnie the Pooh story was.
Right.
But so I think fairy tales for me ended at, Dr. Seuss. So I don't know why. I don't know why fairy tales were not a thing in my house when I was a kid. And then my sister came along and it was the Smurfs. So it
Now you want to talk about terrifying? Now that could be a horror movie.
But anyway, so the elapsed time on this show kind of reflects the shortened length of this film.
Yeah.
I know last week, I think we talked about, we went about the same length as probably the film ran.
And see what it was. So, all the technical problems with YouTube, they cut out our filler of the episode. So they did what the movie should have done.
Right.
I will say this. All right. You're lucky I said, storybook creatures, because it could have been, if I could have said cartoon characters, because there's some people thrown out there. We could have seen the Mickey Mouse one where it's literally a little mouse man creature, and he's the size of a mouse who's terrorizing people. There's 2 fucking killer Popeye movies out there.
I remember seeing the Popeye one advertised. That was kind of mainstream a little bit, wasn't it?
There's a killer Grinch movie out there.
Oh my god!
And like I said, we are going to do some bad movies, but Melissa, I don't want you to hate doing the podcast. So
I will say this one was tough. This one was really tough, but I could figure out when to put my hand up. So I was like, okay, yep, they're revving up for a kill here. Okay.
and see, that is one good thing about this, I guess, because we're also learning what you can and can't handle. So we know what to eliminate, with your journey through horror. All right, let's get to it. Melissa's favorite scene and her score for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey from 2023.
Okay, so I had 2 favorite scenes. I already mentioned, which was whipping Christopher Robin with Eeyore's tail, and then when the hillbillies arrive. Like I basically wrote the last 20 minutes is what I wrote. The last 20 minutes when the hillbillies arrive. My rating would be 2 jars of honey. Which I think is generous.
It's very generous, and it is better than The Room. So we can officially say Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That's okay. We can officially say that Melissa enjoyed, air quotes, this better than The Room. I'm gonna say I've seen a lot worse. I really have. I can appreciate the concept of the movie, the execution, where it kind of had a stinker.
No
but
pun intended.
Yeah, no kidding. I will say, I want to say, I think my favorite scene, honestly, as morbid as it was, I liked the animated storytelling beginning. I liked the way it looked, the way the animation was. It set
the voice.
Yeah, the narration was good. It set the tone with poor little Eeyore. I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I will give it 2.5 severed Eeyore tails. So, I will say this: the sequel is more fun. I was inebriated when I watched it, so that may have something to say.
Okay.
But trust me, Melissa, don't put off slasher films. There are a lot better ones than this. You just got the short end of the stick when you entered this genre. Now, is there anything is there anything else you want to say about Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey before we get into? Well, that was short and to the point. Okay, now we missed last week, and this is a bi-weekly podcast. We are planning on next Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and like I said in the beginning of the episode, whether it was cut out or not, because YouTube fucking sucks, I gave Melissa 3 categories. Her first category was storybook creatures. The next one was goblins. So we're going back to the well of bad movies. Don't worry, it's not those fucking leprechaun movies that Shelley's making you watch. Okay. So don't worry about that. Okay. But this is a movie that is kind of like The Room, not in how bad it is. It is bad, but this one is celebrated in how people can get together, have fun, to make fun of it because of how absurd it is. They actually have film festivals and film get-togethers because of this film. They literally is a documentary called Best Worst Movie on this. Okay. We're going from the slasher genre into fantasy horror, and we're going to, even though you picked goblins, you'll figure out why. We're going to watch Troll 2.
Troll 2. Just skipping right past Troll 1.
Because it has nothing to fucking do with the first movie, and you'll see, and it doesn't matter. It's definitely one that is a beer and pizza with friends movie. So just keep that in mind if you watch it, if you're able to. It might be a little tough watching it by yourself.
The problem
without
is,
a drink or two.
Right. The problem is I can't convince any of my friends to watch these movies with me.
Well, how about this? Here's the thing. We've already decided that next 3 weeks. We can throw them out if you want to. Well, we've chosen.
Oh no.
You want to? Okay. All right. Well, we'll say this. Maybe after Troll 2, you can convince someone to watch that one, because that's the one I might have to force my wife to sit down and watch with me. That we'll say that's a cleansing of the palate when it comes to horror, and that's all we're going to say. But Melissa and Barb from Fear of the Talking Heads will be very, very excited.
I'm just going to say that'll be probably the one movie, well, so far, that I have seen, but I'm willing to watch it again.
And I haven't seen it. I've only seen bits and pieces, and the more if I give anything else away, you guys might figure it out. But she's twisting my arm. But you know what? I put this woman through a lot of hell, and fair is fair. Okay. So this was fun. I'm glad we finally went live. We're under an hour, and we're still about the length of the fucking movie. So. We will see you, God willing, with StreamYard and YouTube. Thank you to Anthony, and thank you to Dennis for showing up in the chat. We will, God willing, see you at 7:30 Eastern Time next week for Troll 2. And I know Melissa won't quit after that week, because she's definitely getting her revenge the following episode. You can see and hear how excited she is.
My face hurts from smiling. I'm so excited for it.
I'm sure I'm going to be hurting too, but you never know. Okay. We'll see. So with that, I am Eric. That's Melissa.
I'm Melissa.
Appreciate you. You got everyone tuning in, and God willing, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Take care.
Like and subscribe.
That's right. Do what she says.
And share. All right.